Let's talk about Hotpot. Welcome back to Sprung on Food. I'm your host, Kay Sprung. This season, we're talking about favorite food, the history behind it, and the role it plays in the world today. Joining me today is artist, writer, chef, and educator, Caroline Choe. Caroline, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I am very excited that you are here. Your favorite food is Hotpot. We've got to talk all about it. Let me know, why is this your favorite food? What is your relationship with it? Tell me all the things.
So to clarify, it is my favorite of the moment, and today actually is a perfect day for it. So Hotpot, what is Hotpot? It is just a wonderful, wonderful bubbling hell broth that you are able to take the most wonderful things of vegetables and meat. And, you know, in my husband's case, he loves to just have his dumplings and everything else. And just being able to cook everything in your broth and then just have it. It is a tradition that goes back to way, 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 way back in China. And now our favorite place is actually a Korean-owned place in Fort Lee, New Jersey. So yeah, that is pretty much. That is as much as I'm willing to give away about where exactly it is, but yes.
Oh, are you gatekeeping this place?
No,
so that they don't. Okay.
Honestly, the community in which I see it, because this place is very crowded all the time. Yeah, no, it's definitely not gate kept. It is there. You'll find it.
This one in particular, why do you love this one so much? What made you gravitate to this place?
So my husband, actually, he grew up in Fort Lee. And so this ended up being actually coincidentally opening up right near my in-laws where they live. And so that was just the cherry on top, because I actually was able to tag along with my husband's school and their student groups to a field trip in which they went to go get Hotpot at this restaurant. And
a field trip to go get Hotpot? How lucky. What the heck?
Yeah. Right? Yeah.
This is like school goals. Okay.
I know. It is total school goals. And the thing is it was like, to herd middle schoolers over to get Hotpot. Now, this is a different kind of place.
Middle schoolers too. How exciting. What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So but the thing is, in a lot of different restaurants, you'll have the big pot in which everybody it's a very community meal where everybody takes from the hot pot, dips, and then takes. But in this case, everyone was given their own individual hot pot. You order your broth. Yeah, you order your broth. There's a buffet in which you go get your vegetables. It is a very willing time for greens as an adult. And you go get your vegetables, you order meat for the table if you should want it, and your noodles. Like, you got to have your but save your noodles for the end, because my pro tip is, you keep your carbs for the end, your delights. It's almost like your dessert, if you will.
But noodle dessert. Okay.
Pretty much just that's been our go-to comfort for the past maybe 2 years, especially when, things were opening back up after lockdown, and there were just a lot of things that we could not do. But Hotpot for the last 2 years, whether rain, shine, hot, cold, whatever kind of weather, I've noticed, we could do it at home, but it's just wonderful to go there. They know who we are now.
Ooh, you're regulars?
We're regulars now,
but
we also know the hours in which to go now. So it's, where it's not going to be too crowded, where we will expect a crowd, where we know it's a 90-minute time limit. So, they get ready for the next people to come in after that. So, yeah.
You have figured it out. You are a Hotpot pro at this particular place where everybody stay away because this is Caroline's joint. No, we're just kidding. We want them to thrive and have business. Yes, yes.
I'll probably see we see tons of people there that we know. So it's not like a well-kept secret. People will find it. It's fine.
Yes, if it's good, they will come. Absolutely.
They will come. Yes.
Well, to better understand and appreciate our food, we've got to know where it came from. Picture this. A bubbling pot of savory broth, a table full of friends, and a seemingly endless parade of ingredients, thinly sliced meats, crisp veggies, silky tofu, and noodles galore, saving for the end as you like it. This is Hotpot, a meal that's as much about the food as it is about the experience. But how did we get from ancient cooking pots to modern hotpot parties? Let's rewind about 1700 years ago to ancient China. The origins of hotpot trace back to the Three Kingdoms period, 220 to 280 CE. Back then, soldiers and travelers needed a warm, communal way to eat during harsh winters. Enter the cauldron. This early hotpot was a simple, portable vessel where people would boil whatever they had on hand: wild meats, vegetables, and herbs. During the Western Jin Dynasty, 265 to 316 CE, Chinese poet Zhuo Xi even mentioned hot pot's cultural significance in his piece Rhapsody of the Three Capitals, where he praised the flavors of Szechuan hot pot, evidence of its enduring popularity even back then. And the name Huaguo literally means fire pot in Chinese, a fitting tribute to the communal, fiery nature of the dish. While hot pot is immensely popular in Sichuan and Beijing, some origin stories trace it back to the beginning of boatmen paddling along the Yangtze and Jialing rivers along Chongqing, China. They enjoyed hot pot as an inexpensive, efficient way to eat, boiling local meats, vegetables, and spices in a shared pot. But some historians believe the nomadic Mongols of the eastern steppe were the true originators of hot pot. As they traveled and camped, Mongol warriors would circle around fires, cooking meat in a communal broth, sometimes even using their overturned helmets when proper cookware wasn't available. This practical cooking method spread as Mongol armies expanded their empire during the 13th century, influencing culinary traditions across China, Korea, and Japan. Caroline, I'm sure you haven't cooked in an upside down helmet yet.
Not yet.
What's maybe one of the most creative or scrappy things that you've done while cooking in the kitchen?
So whenever I would work in my own kitchen, but in anybody else's, it's always a matter of what do you have? And, I don't, unlike my parents who have a hot pot pan, basically, it's an electric hot pot pan. They've had it for years. I did not have anything remotely close to that except for maybe a saucepan. And so sometimes that's how my husband and I will try to have some sort of hot pot at home. Here, it's not going to be standing over our stove, dipping, but it is kind of like Japanese or Korean style hot pot where everything is pretty much in there. The broth is put in there, and then you have it, boiling, simmering together, and then extracting it and having it together. Again, like a more community aspect of having the meal. So yeah, that's how we've had to be scrappy. Worst comes to worst, in a client's place, if they have a frying pan and that's all they got, we'll make do with showing them how to cook certain things in the way that they hope to actually accomplish it.
Yes, in the illustrious words of Tim Gunn, you make it work. Yes.
I did. FYI, I did meet Tim Gunn once. And
did you guys have hot pot?
We did not have hot pot. He had just come from the gym, but he was as lovely a human being as I've been told he would be. So yeah.
I love that.
And I also think, I will throw this in there, that I do think because he also was involved in education for so long, and I've said this about educators, that somehow there is some sort of connection that I think, human connection that I think people make on that level. So, and because he was in education for as long as he was, I think that might have helped.
Kindred spirits. I love it. And next stop, the two of you were manifesting, get hot pot together.
That I would not dispute.
Okay, Tim Gunn. Here's Caroline. She's going to show you this amazing New Jersey spot. Get ready. Well, by the Ming Dynasty, 1368 to 1644, hot pot evolved from a humble utilitarian meal to a luxurious feast for the elite. Emperors and scholars indulged in elaborate hot pot banquets, showcasing exotic ingredients like venison, seafood, and rare herbs. Special hot pot vessels crafted from bronze and porcelain became a status symbol in affluent households, a rare upgrade from those upside down helmets. Caroline, what do you think about this dish going from such humble beginnings to such a fancy and elaborate status symbol of a meal?
So it's funny you mentioned that because there is expensive hot pot now. There's just expensive style hot pot now in the New York City and everywhere really. But, in terms of it being survivalist, almost a survivalist kind of meal for a time, and even in the preparation. However, there's also just keeping in mind that there were every different region also had they cooked their hot pot a different way. But also, I want everyone to keep in mind that the style of hot pot in which everybody had it, in the Sichuan province, they would have hot peppercorns or, lots of mala spices and other places. And nothing has ever been cut the same. And this is just one way or the other in which to have hot pot. Some had involved more lamb, while other had more vegetables. And now that it's evolved to what it is now, and even just my favorite place, it's owned by Koreans and it has a lot of Korean ingredients when we're there. I'm kind of a wuss, if I'm being honest, with spice. And I know that some people will order the mala spicy broth, and I cannot do that because I'm of a certain age now where my body decided that it doesn't like spicy things anymore, which is terrible because I love kimchi, but I still want the flavor and I still want a little bit of spice. So I will get pork bone broth. And my favorite hot pot meal in Korean culture is really just a Korean American recipe. It was a dish, budae-jjigae, which lots of people know now, but my uncle would have great stories about making budae-jjigae during the army time, where he's like, if you find some cigarettes in there, that's how you know. And
What?
cigarette butts.
That's how you know what?
He was just like, that's how you know they made it like that day.
Oh boy.
Or it was just not uncommon to find it in there because
Extra
it wasn't
flavoring.
I mean, it was army stew. So it was
Right.
just, whatever the GIs had left or given, like surpluses of Spam and hot dogs and things and cheese that the American soldiers had basically given or had over there and so left over. And so in a way, it's kind of like we had our version, but it's, there's other versions, of course, like different tonggols and stuff in Korean culture.
Yes, and some of the things that you mentioned provide an excellent foreshadowing. The Qing Dynasty, 1644 to 1912, brought even more regional diversity to hot pot. Each part of China developed its own unique style. If you ever find yourself on a hot pot tasting tour of China, buckle up because it's going to be a brothy, flavor-packed adventure. Each region has its own signature style, and trust me, you'll want to try them all. Let's start in Beijing, where hot pot comes with a little architectural flair. Picture a volcano-shaped copper pot, its origins tracing back to Mongolia, bubbling away with mild yet comforting broth. The star of the show? Thinly sliced mutton. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Dipping plates arrive loaded with stomach meats, tofu, greens, and delicate rice noodles ready for their moment in the pot. Meanwhile, the Sichuan region, famous for its bold flavors, introduced the mala broth, spiced with Sichuan peppercorns and dried chilies, creating that fiery sensation that hot pot lovers either crave or fear. Caroline, and this is not your preferred. Am I correct? Would you ever feel bold enough to try it, or just can't do it?
So again, when I turned a certain age, it's just my body decided for me that I had to slow down with a lot. And so again, Pepsid is a thing, guys, and we don't, just
they can be a sponsor for this podcast. Okay.
Yes, sure. Yeah. Pepsid, H Mart, let's get them all.
Yeah.
Ranch 99. It's honestly, it's still delicious. It smells delicious to me. Mm-hmm. And for anyone who has loved having it, God bless you, because I'm just like, keep having it if you can. It's funny because even when we took the children there, many of them were trying it and wanted the mala broth. And they were like, this isn't that spicy. And
Okay.
it was a very proud moment.
Wow, they're ready for hot ones.
Yes,
Sign
I
them
mean,
up.
but in general, it's just whatever your preference is. Even my mother actually doesn't really like it too spicy. For me, if I can't, I'm one of those people that I've always been like this, where if it's so spicy that I can't even taste the food, I get
Agreed.
very
Yep.
deterred. I'm sure people are going to come at me in the comments and just say like, well, she's just a wuss. You're right.
No,
I
no.
am.
Well, I think you have a fair community of people like myself where it's a little bit I like a little bit of heat, but exactly to your point where it becomes I can't even taste the flavors anymore. Like, why am I doing this to myself? It's just torture at that point.
Yeah, I mean, I commend anyone who can. My husband can, and,
Mm.
my relatives can, lots of my friends can. I would say that, if you have a broth that is tried and true, there are places in America and that I've seen expanding into just more ideal expansion into, Asian flavors, not just Asian American flavors or even catering to just an American audience, but people who are actually embracing, the mala, the different ways in which you can have broth essentially for your hot pot. So yeah, have at it.
Now, let's take a trip down to Yunnan where things get a little fungi forward. Here, the humble mushroom reigns supreme, soaking up a broth infused with just the right amount of spicy chili peppers. Earthy, aromatic, and with a bit of kick, this hot pot is perfect for those who like their food to fight back just a little bit. And then we drift towards the southern shores of Guangdong, where hot pot gets a Cantonese makeover. This is where fresh seafood steals the spotlight. Think delicate fish balls, tender fillets, and briny shellfish, all taking a luxurious soak in a lightly seasoned broth that lets the natural flavor shine without any heavy spices. Now, before you grab your chopsticks and dive headfirst into the bubbling broth, we've got to talk about something very important: hot pot etiquette, because nothing says buzzkill like a double dip disaster. First things first, those 2 pairs of chopsticks the restaurant gives you, yeah, they're not just for funsies or stylish Instagram flat lays. The dark colored chopsticks are your communal utensils. They're strictly for fishing out food from the pot. The light colored chopsticks, they're your personal utensils. The only ones allowed to dip into the sauce and go anywhere near your mouth. Cross-contaminate at your own peril, you will get side eyes. Now, if you want group harmony, before placing your order, communicate with your table. Seriously, this is not the time to go rogue. It's best to pick a broth everyone agrees on to avoid ingredients that could ruin someone else's hot pot moment. And one more thing, sharing is caring. That means no enoki mushroom monopolies, no tofu hoarding, and no fishing out all the fish balls accidentally. Hot pot is a communal experience, not a competitive sport. So play nice, dip fair, and everyone wins. Caroline, I know you had mentioned one of these places has the individual hot pots,
Mhm.
which really would be fabulous for anybody who does want to go rogue. Do you, when it comes to the communal version, do you have any rules or playbook when it comes to enjoying hot pot with others?
No, I mean, I'm there. When I'm in somebody's house, I'm in somebody's house, and it's, just I'm not going to complain about I need this and I need this. I'm that mindset. But I will say there are the pots in which there is the division. There's like the yin yang basically, where one side will have, spicy and the other one will have just a more plain broth. So again, there are ways in which everybody can win. There are many ways in which everybody can win. In terms of hoarding, all of the good stuff that you like, I do
Mhm.
remember sharing a pot of budae with my cousins, and man, the noodles went fast. I was like, wait a minute. I was like,
Excuse me, where are
yeah.
all of the noodles?
And the noodles, but also my husband couldn't really have it because there was the American cheese was in it. So, and he's lactose intolerant. So, but again, it's like you'd make with what you can. And, and again, with us being so lucky now of having many options, there's many which ways in which you can have it. You're actually giving me an idea for my class this weekend. But
Ooh,
so
I love that little inspo.
we'll see. I mean, it's just
Don't
everybody.
tell me it's cigarette butts.
No,
Okay.
I don't think the children, I think the school might frown upon that. But I will say, if you got one, I mean, I've never had burrito with cigarette butts, but I'd imagine it added a little something something.
Key essence? I don't know.
I don't know. I'll never know. Oh, or
Okay.
maybe I
Yeah,
will.
I
I
don't
don't
think
know.
anybody's missing out on that one. Yeah. It may be authentic to some, but not a palate pleaser to others. So,
If it does, we'll see the next trend budding about. So there you go.
oh dear. Yeah, watch the next viral trend. Cigarette butt hot pot. Fabulous. Now, I briefly mentioned it earlier, but beyond China, hot pot style cooking evolved in parallel across Asia. In Japan, hot pot transformed into shabu shabu and sukiyaki, highlighting delicate broths and premium cuts of meat. Korea developed janggol and purichige, blending traditional flavors and ingredients introduced during the Korean War. Even Vietnam boasts a version called lao, often infused with tangy tamarind and fresh herbs. And the popularity of hot pot, we can find it bubbling up in pop culture. In 2016, the movie Changshin Hot Pot was released. It's about three struggling restaurateurs and their former classmate who plan to rob a bank. A Guinness World Record went out to Pippa Yuan Restaurant in Chongqing, China on July 26, 2022. They are the largest hot pot restaurant in terms of seating capacity. Caroline, can you take a guess at how many seats the restaurant can accommodate?
500, 700.
Okay, well, by Price is Right rules, you win, but they actually can accommodate 5,851 seats.
I was way off.
You were way off, but my mind can't even wrap around like what that even looks like. You can find some videos. I did see some of those online, and it's mind blowing. The restaurant spans like up a hill. It's a sight.
That's awesome. And yet scary. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Good luck flagging down a server if you ever need something in a restaurant with almost 6,000 seats.
I would imagine and hope I would imagine that they have a pretty good efficiency system going on. So good for them. So
Yes,
yeah.
especially if they're winning a Guinness World Record. I
Yes.
think they've earned it. They've got it down. They know exactly what they're doing.
Mhm.
And at Sinker Pictures in Chengdu, China, you can enjoy a movie and bubbling hot pot at the same time. This retro style theater lets guests cook their food right at their seats while watching the big screen. Just beware, it's not for those who prefer their films without the sizzling and slurp soundtrack. Caroline, are there any moments in pop culture where you can think of that hot pot made its mark, or any final words you have about your favorite food?
If you've ever seen the intro to Eat, Drink, Man, Woman, or even just the whole movie, you know, there is a moment in which a hot pot will make its way on the table and it looks delicious. And, oh, that movie is one of my favorites. But I will say that also the Korean vegan, Joanne Molinaro, actually, she made this amazing hot pot the other day. Or not the other day, even just check out her stories and her posts. She's an amazing human being as well as a creator. And when she made that, I kid you not, I was salivating. And I messaged her to tell her, so I was like, this is making me very hungry, just letting you know. And because it just, the happiness of it. So again, it's like your proteins, your vegetables, your broth, your noodles, and whatever you're just loving at that moment, it's just the best to have. So in terms of final parting words on the subject, I should have glasses or something.
But, feels very formal.
Yes, very glad. Final word on the subject. But I will say that, it has become it's not even that it's become, it always has been here. Hot pot is not something that's new, nor is it something that's trendy, nor is it it's a part of many of our lives. It's been a part of many of our lives and something that has brought us lots of comfort throughout our entire lives. And what I've loved more is seeing when people bring their families and bring young children to the restaurant that we love to go to and watching them discover it and figure out how to. Obviously, they're getting help cooking, but it's, again, I hope that everybody learns to enjoy it in their lives, not just as you would enjoy a pizza Friday or maybe even in the same context. But for us, it's like, it's Saturday, we're going to Hot Pot. It's just become one of those things that becomes part of your life. And when, certain weather hits, I do notice there's more people there, especially when the weather is gray and cold, rainy days. We know rainy Saturdays, forget it. We have to go early or else we'll never sit. So
they're like 2:30 p.m. What's an ideal, and again, we're not trying to get people to steal your ideas, but what's like an ideal off-peak time?
Off-peak time, I would say, is like any off-peak time during
like 3
in
p.m.?
America anyway. Yeah. Or, anywhere, is that siesta time probably is an off time. 2 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock.
Okay.
We go early, just to early bird catches the worm. And even then there will be aunties and uncles and families who just need to get it out of the way because the kid has to go take a nap at 2 o'clock or, or they're just also just like us trying to beat the crowd.
They're hip to the whole off-peak hour idea. They don't want to be crowded. They want to get their hot pot in. I get it.
But to go back to something you said about the two different kinds of chopsticks, I've actually never had that.
Really?
Personally, I've never had that. I'm just, again, every place has presented it differently, but
sure.
But my place, my go-to, I will tell you my setup, which is that my go-to is to have my ladle, my extra bowl for garbage.
Is it an individual ladle or is it a ladle for the table?
It's an individual ladle. Yeah, it's a slitted ladle. I do have my chopsticks, but the place I go is smart. They have all these spare napkins on the side. When it's noodle time, I will tuck a napkin in here because I will wear a splatter shirt. And listen, when you're eating food and you enjoy it, it just means you had a good time. I have my serving bowl in front, or not my serving bowl, but my serving plate. It's I always say I need space when I do hot pot.
Yes. Yeah. I'm hearing all of the different components, but they each serve such a meaningful purpose that it's like you can't skimp on all of it. Like, yes, you do need a lot of space. This is like not for like a tiny little two-top situation. Like you've got to be able to branch out.
I mean, if you are. But again, if it's just a community meal where everybody's already gathered around a pot and they already have their setup with just a bowl, that works too. Again, it's like, that's the beauty of it. Is just there. You can have it all together. You can have it by yourself. It's a very welcoming dish. So, and again, survivalist to just being a part of life. So
yes, a full circle moment. I love it. Well, Caroline, thank you so much for sharing your love of hot pot and helping me to tell its story.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thanks for watching. You can find links and more info in the description below. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. See you next time.